KC.
Check it out.
100 to 102.
Today FM.
Monday afternoon, this is 100 to 102 Today FM. You're on the KC show. We want to bring to your attention this week, folks, a brilliant organisation called the Irish Guide Dogs for the Blind are running the Shades campaign. Shades campaign is a fundraising week where people are out on the streets collecting money, selling little pins. The pins have little puppy dogs wearing sunglasses. It's all together very cute, and a brilliant organisation that are helping raise funds to train dogs for blind or visually impaired people. And they're also running another programme which is Assistant Dogs for Kids with Autism. Hugely successful, and all of this costs money, so we need your help this week. Give what you can, buy a little pin. People are all over the country in local Tesco's and shopping centres, and you can also donate through the website Blinddogs.ie. If you want to go online and you're feeling generous today, please help out if you can. Now, one of the most famous faces and one of the patrons for the Irish Guide Dogs is Mr. Roy Keane.
How are you doing?
How are you?
Very good, very good. Obviously, just keep myself a little bit busy doing small bit of work, but not too much, and just kind of enjoy my bit of freedom, I have to say.
It must be unusual for you because for years you were just so tied down to schedules and training and games, and the whole life was consumed with football. So after all of that, I mean, filling up your time, is it easy to do? Is it?
I think it's very difficult at the start, I have to say. I think, as you said, for years I loved the training, I loved the discipline, preparation. I suppose the ups and downs of football results. Obviously, I had my share of disappointments with injuries, etc. So it is a shock to the system, I have to say, when you stop playing. I suppose fortunately for me, I went straight into the management side with Sunderland, which kept me busy. Then Ipswich, but obviously I've not really been involved hands-on with a football club now for a couple of years. So it does take a while, I have to say, to get used to it, and I can clearly understand now why ex-players struggle. But I suppose doing a little bit of TV has helped me, because I still get to see the odd game, and it keeps the brain occupied. But on the other side of that, I'm enjoying, my freedom. Of course, you can't sit around all day doing nothing. You have to keep yourself busy, and I try and do that.
But apart from playing football for a living, obviously, it's another great thing to watch it and get paid for it.
Not will ever replace, the buzz you get from playing the game. Again, I suppose I played football pretty seriously even from when I was 9 years of age. I always took it seriously in terms of the training, everything. So I had it obviously when I stopped playing up to 34, 35.
Yeah.
And of course the management. But going to watch matches and doing a little bit of TV is nowhere near the buzz or the enjoyment, of course, of playing it. But as I said, it just keeps the brain occupied. Particularly for me now at the moment, at least I'm getting to watch decent games, with Champions League games, FA Cup and international matches. But having said that, at most weekends I try and go and watch a match anyway myself. I do my own thing, whether it be last week I'm up to watch Forest, this weekend I'll probably get to a game. So it is nice also just to go and watch a game and to be relaxed, I suppose, and try and enjoy the game itself without thinking, I'm working.
What other things do you do outside of football? I mean, what are your real passions and interests outside of...
Strangely enough, I feel busy enough as it is. I've got a fairly big family. I've got a couple of dogs. I do seem to be busy. Whatever I might be doing, I find something to do most days. As I said, I'm not one really for sitting around. So it could be anything. It could be as simple as going on school runs, going to the movies, walking my dogs, going for a game of snooker with some friends, going to watch matches. And when I do, obviously, if I cover games for ITV and it's abroad, I'll be away for 2 or 3 days. Like this week, obviously, we were in Germany, and it's about 2 or 3 day commitment. So, as I said, I keep myself fairly busy.
Roy, when you're dropping the kids off at school, have any fellow parents approached you maybe to get involved in the five-a-side? Hey, would you mind?
I've had people have been brave enough to come up and ask me would I get involved in different five-a-side, as you said, competitions. That goes on everywhere. But I have to say, I played a couple of charity games over the last year or two, and I wouldn't say I've enjoyed them because I seem to have picked up injuries. I played a game last summer, and I tore my groin and my hamstring after about 15 minutes. So it's not really on my agenda. And I know people when they ask me would I get involved, but I have to say I think I've hung my boots up, forever now. I'm not keen to get involved in any sort of level because every time I seem to play I pick up an injury or I probably take it too seriously. So I'm best keeping out of it. You know, there is some days where I wouldn't mind a kick around with, you know, with any sort of players, I suppose. But at the moment, no. The boots are in the garage, and hopefully they're staying there.
Are we going to encourage any young little Keanos to put on a jersey?
I've got one boy, obviously. I've got 4 girls. Aidan plays a little bit, but I'll be honest with you. I don't push him too hard on that. I leave it up to him. If he wants to play football, good luck to him. If he doesn't, I've never been one for putting him under pressure to play football. But he has took a bit more interest in the last year or two, and he plays for a local team here, and he enjoys it. And but as I said, I don't get involved. I leave him to it. Yeah. I don't want to be one of them parents that puts him under pressure to play a sport just because of the fact I played it. He'll find his own way.
Roy, very important question. Does he support Man United?
No, he doesn't. No.
Oh, really?
No, he strangely enough, and I still haven't figured out. I think he likes Arsenal.
Oh, right, okay.
Right, yeah. So, but listen, I'm still trying to figure that one out. No, again, as I said, you know, kids are like depends where they go to school. There's certain teams they like, but he's got a soft spot for Arsenal. But hopefully, when he grows up and he gets a little bit of sense, that will change.
Brilliant. Listen, the other thing, and the main reason we want to talk to you today, Roy, outside of the whole sport thing, within this country, if you think of the Irish Guide Dogs, you instantly think of you. You've had such an association with them for the last 11 years. How did you get involved, and why was the reason for that?
It's very straightforward. People have asked me this before. Basically, they asked me. You know, unless people ask, you know, it's very hard to get somebody to do anything. So they asked me again. I think it was probably even 12, 13 years ago. Would I get involved in the Guide Dogs? And I said I would, of course, because I always had a soft spot for them in terms of when I was growing up in Cork. You know, you knew it was a local organisation or charity, and of course, I always have a soft spot for dogs, and I've been involved, and it's been brilliant, really brilliant organisation, what they do for people, and of course I'm learning as I go along. You know, when I committed to it all them years ago, I really didn't know too much about it, to be honest with you, but we're learning, and of course the Shades campaign seems to have got bigger, and every year, and as I said, it's I think 11th or 12th year now, which is fantastic, and you know, I'm delighted to be involved, and of course it's obviously difficult now at the moment to try and raised a few bob, but you got to keep trying and keep asking people, and I think everyone seems to, particularly, you know, in Ireland and particularly around Cork, seem to have a, you know, I suppose a soft spot. I know there's brilliant other organisations out there, brilliant charities, but I just kind of focus my, I suppose, energy with the Guide Dogs.
We did a show from there a couple of years ago. I remember they brought us out to do the obstacle course. Did you give it a go?
Yeah, I have done it, and again, it's fantastic. Again, strangely enough, again, things we take for granted. You know, again, it's probably educating myself a little bit as well when I meet people with, obviously, blind people or people with, you know, impaired vision. I've met a lot of families with children with autism, and what the animals give these families is it literally does change people's lives. And I've been out to the centre a number of times. Brilliant people out there, and working extremely hard to keep trying to raise the funds, because it is obviously difficult at the moment. It's
pretty exciting, the new project that they're doing at the moment, Roy, which is training dogs for kids with autism. This is another kind of branch to the Irish Guide Dogs.
Yeah.
From your own experience, from maybe meeting parents or people who have kids with autism, what do you think are the big advantages to this? Why is it working so well?
Oh, well, where do you start? Again, it just... for us, again, you know, when I've met people, I met a family last week, and it gives particularly the children a lot of self-confidence. It calms them down. It gives the family an opportunity to go out and have meals and go on holidays. Again, unfortunately, stuff that we all take for granted. And of course, when we talk about it, it's not necessarily a dog that's coming into your life. They're coming into the family. They are very much part of the family. And as I said, it literally does change people's lives, and it gives them a lot of independence to go out and do stuff that, again, we all do for granted. And that might be something as simple as just going out for a bit of lunch. And as I said, the families I've met, they don't half appreciate the help they've received from the Guide Dogs, and of course the dogs themselves, which are absolutely fantastic. And the training that goes into them, of course, it takes a lot of money and a lot of hard work, but the rewards are absolutely amazing. And I'd recommend anybody to go to the centre and have a look around, because, as I said, I appreciate there's loads of brilliant charities out there, but what the Guide Dogs do is just absolutely amazing.
Roy, KC mentioned the obstacle course, and myself and KC actually did that as well. And what the trainers were saying to us was, you've got to give so much trust to the animal, and it made me really appreciate people are walking down busy streets, walking across busy roads, giving all the trust over to the animal. It's an incredible relationship.
Absolutely fantastic. And of course that's where they have to build up the relationship with the dog, the trust. As you said, without the dogs, a lot of people I've met wouldn't be able to get out the front doors. Now all of a sudden they can travel, they can go to the shop, they can go on holidays. Again, stuff that, again, we're all guilty of taking it for granted. So as you said, what the dogs give people, and I've tried the obstacle course, and listen, there's people around you, you're going to be looked after, but you're still fearful, and ultimately you've got to trust the dog to get you by, and that's what these dogs do.
Excellent. That's why we want people to support the Shades campaign as much as they possibly can. Again, all over the country they're going to be selling the pins. This week it kicks off, so support it if you can. And Roy, thank you so much for taking the call. And I suppose thanks a million as well for your association with the Irish Guide Dogs, because I know you do Trojan work for them.
Pleasure. No, the real people, the people who deserve all the credit, I would say, obviously the volunteers out there and the families involved.
Quick one. Champions League, who's going to win?
I've been with Bayern since the start. They should have won it last year. They've obviously bought more players. They're a lot stronger now. Obviously, you'd expect them to finish the job off against Barcelona. I suppose the big surprise we're looking at would probably be Dortmund. But again, the way they've approached, I think, the Champions League, there's been no fear. They had a disappointing campaign last year in the Champions League. They've learned from it. And need a massive effort, I suppose, from Madrid to try and get back. But it looks like it's going to be an all-German final, and again, as I said, I'm not going to change my mind. I think Bayern will do it.
Okay, Roy, thank you very much for talking to us.
All the best. Good luck.
Thanks, man.
Bye-bye.